I'm Christopher Titus, and this is the Armageddon Update. And I would like to know what you were doing this summer. What are your plans? Disney World, the Poconos, Hawaii, sitting in your underwear playing Fortnite? Those are all awesome vacations. But I have a place for all of you little mijahs and mijos to go. Trump Camp. That's right, this summer you can go to the desert. It's like the beach, but you can't cool off because there's absolutely no water. Trump Camps, where we put you in luxurious rooms big enough for 100 people, but we give you more and more and more at Trump Camps. Those rooms will now have 400 of your closest friends in them. That's right, almost 400 people stuck in a room built for 100. And that's right, more compadres to hang out with. Imagine you're living in a giant group hug with 400 new people. Oh, and the smells of Mexico. And the warmth of your neighbor's armpits will keep you all snugly in the 55-degree nights, and then you'll be cooled down by the sweat of the 4 people pressed up against you during the 106-degree days. And if you can find an open space, you can have lice races.
Trump Camp.
And don't worry about washing your hands or brushing your teeth or taking a shower. None of that's provided. But after all, don't worry, you're on vacation. It's just Airbnb without food, water, or air. Parents, when you send your kids to Trump Camps, you'll never see them again. That's right. At Trump Camps, we separate you from your children, and we don't track anyone. We can't match you up because, well, at Trump Camps, we think you all look the same anyway.
Trump Camp.
Look at the bright side, Mom and Dad. You can just go back to your life of leisure without the hassle of raising the children that you love. And to you children staying at the Trump Camps, no more rules from Mom and Dad, huh? You get to be raised by your new daddy, Papa Ice Agent. But don't be mad at them. They are just following orders from the president, Sweet Potato Hitler.
They're bringing drugs, they're bringing crime, they're rapists, and some, I assume, are good people.
Trump Camp, you get frozen chicken McNuggets, and no, they won't warm them up, which is probably pretty good due to all the disease and parasites that are living on you and the other 399 people you're sharing a room with.
Trump Camp.
And please, eat as much as you want in Trump Camps. You're on vacation. And because of the filthy conditions, you'll probably get dysentery and have diarrhea for months at a time, which may sound horrible, but hey, you're going to lose weight on vacation. How often does that happen? At Trump Camps, we are here to do one thing: make America great again. And by that, we mean turning America into Nazi Germany in 1933. At Trump Camps, we are Hitlerlicious. This is no longer the America I was raised in. I'm Christopher Titus, and this is the Armageddon Update. Hey everybody, Christopher Titus, Titus Podcast. With me, as always, to the right, the lovely Bombshell Ray.
What's up, people?
And our guest today, can I talk about this guy for a second before we introduce him? This man, I've known of him for a very long time. We used his workout. There's an embarrassing story about that that when I first met him. Since then, he's become a friend. But yesterday or 2 days ago, we worked out with him, and my ass feels like right now, like I'm the pretty girl in the slasher movie. It's just getting stabbed repeatedly every time I walk. With me today, ladies and gentlemen, from P90X and his new thing, the next level, Mr. Tony Horton.
Hello, you guys.
How
Great
you
to
doing
be here?
Man? Yeah, make sure you're on the mic. We got you.
Am I good? Am I good? Am I
You're
too far,
we
too
have some
close, just
technology.
right, left, right, north, south, east?
The technology.
He did actually wake up this morning and whimper. He actually went, "Oh God, my ass."
You're a better man. You're a better man for it. You're welcome.
I am.
2 words.
It was awesome. No, thank you. I'm not. So you do this thing, which is really cool. You know, a lot of people, celebrities, people that are big in whatever. You never heard like any of the other fitness people saying, "Yeah, man, just show up at my house." And so there's a bunch of friends that show up, and you beat our ass for. We do plyos, and then Sunday's Ninja Day, which I've been missing because I've been on the road. It's like the worst day for me for comedy. But that's right, another. I wore my. So you guys don't know this. This man works you out in a way to the point where you are dying. I wore my Apple Watch, and I had it on the calorie setting. And one Ninja Day, I did 1,273 calories on my watch.
Well, we're out there for 5.5 hours, so that's
true.
I mean, you would have burned half that just walking aran town.
That's true. We are out there a long time.
So.
But it's a cool thing. It's a really cool thing. It's a sense of community that I'm not used to. So how did this start, man? So we were hanging out once, and you did a mime thing. You started doing this mime. I'm like, what the hell are you doing? You said, oh, I used to be a mime in Santa Monica.
Yeah.
Okay, that's not what I expected to hear.
Everybody knows that old story.
No, we do not.
Doesn't everybody start life like that?
No, we know you as this
Right
guy.
there.
All right, do your best. Forget the rest. That's what we know.
Hey, you remembered it.
I
Good
remembered
job.
this time.
Yeah,
Sort
thank
of.
you.
Do it
Thank
again.
you.
What
First
was
time
that
we hung
again?
out. First time we went over. A friend of mine took me over to Tony's to work out, and I go, yeah, we did P90X, which I did for a long time. We did P90X. I just don't listen to you. I would just, what's that guy doing?
I would mute me. I would do that.
She knew all the jokes to the point she would.
I would do you to the video of you. The same jokes every week.
Yeah, that's kind of spot on.
Thank
good.
you.
That's
Thank
really-
you.
that's
And a
really
lot of
good.
pointing.
That's really good.
It's really mocky and good.
Yeah.
That's how she
Just
is.
the right amount of mocky.
That's why I
You know
love
what I
her.
mean? Not too mocky,
Thank
not
you.
enough
Thank
mocky,
you.
like spot
Now,
on
there's something
mocky.
he does on the video, which I
So
found
you
out.
went to his house.
So I went to his house, and he goes, "You did P90X?" I go, "Yeah, for like 2 years we did it."
Huge fan.
And we even
Huge
and,
fan.
and he goes, "Yeah." He goes, "Do your best," and I went, "Yep, do your best." And he goes, "No, do your best."
There's the rest
I
of
go,
it
and
is-
he goes, "The rest of it." I go, and I went blank. You see
He
me go,
called me and told me, and I started screaming in the car. Forget about the rest. Just forget. You don't go to Tony Horton's house and not know Tony Horton's phrase.
Not really a big fan then.
I did it
was
for
guessing.
working out. I did. I just,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, you were focused on form and function. Forget about the
I
crap
actually
coming
was,
out of my
man.
mouth.
Those those workouts, those P90X workouts. I'd wake up the next day because it never. Here's what's great about you, and this is working out you now. The shape you're in is incredible, and you're 73 now. How old are you?
Yeah.
73?
73 years old.
40, okay, so
Exactly.
his
Spot
birthday
on.
come-
My birthday's coming up. I'm going to be 74.
So he says you work out, but none of your workouts are, even the plyo workout, it's not killer. It's not like if someone says, "Oh, you work at Tony, it must be horrible." I go, "No, everything we do is fairly doable. It's just how you do it." You know, you have to just go lower, and you do it, and then you do 23 of them or 22. What do we do? How many sets do we do in plyos? 22.
We do 20.
20 different
20. It
workouts.
feels like 70, but it's 20.
And it does feel like 70. When you say halfway, I'm always depressed. You go, "We're halfway." Really?
Yeah. So
you're doing 20
your plyo
sets-
cup is half empty, my friend.
How
Yes.
many reps are you doing per set?
It depends on the exercise. The least amount is 30, and usually those particular exercises you go in super low, jumping super high, and then some we're doing as many as 100 reps. So yeah, between 30 and 100.
So that's why-
averaging 40, 50, 60.
So that's why I walk as if I've been beaten in a prison camp.
Ow, ow, ow,
and the
ow.
next day.
That's a visual. I'm there. I can see that.
So okay, so you came to LA. So what? Okay, how did your story is weird because it's not like I was a trainer forever and then I just did some videos and it worked out. It's like you came to LA to be an actor and a comic,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I thought it was pretty funny.
Right.
Not funny like you're too funny, because
Nah,
I
you're
tried
pretty
that
funny.
for a couple of
You're
years.
pretty
You know, I
funny.
did my open mic nights and I did my showcases, and I'd usually stack the room with friends and then, pour booze down their throats. And then I had kind of a NC-17 X-rated mime bit that I did, because I had that mime training, of course, right? So I did this sort of three-way menage a trois on stage. There was a lot of... and then I go further than that, and I cover the whole body, and there's 2 people, 3 people, 4 people in the room, and I just crank up some Radiohead or something really loud, and people enjoyed that. But yeah, I came out here, I came out here for a summer. I was just out here to kind of experiment and see what it was like, and I fell in love with the place. I fell in love with the culture, and I wasn't a fit guy then. I was, I was smoking weed and drinking beer and eating double cheese chimichangas and pizza and hot dogs and whatnot. Didn't care, because I didn't have any money. It was all about survival. And I was a handyman, I was a carpenter, and I was a mime at the pier. That was my skill. And you just put down your hat and you get some cash. There was some times there when I lived in Santa Monica with 2 other buddies, and I would be out of bread, and I'd call my parents, collect, because that's what we did in those days.
In the old day with the collecting, there was
Mom, I've only
pay
got 30 seconds because I know this is going to cost you like $14. So I need $73.45 so I can buy a belt sander to build furniture so I can sell it on the street. It was that bad.
Wow.
But when they just said, "No, come home, you're done screwing around out there," because obviously you're confused and lost, I go down to the pier, I put on the black pants, the white shirt, the black vest, the hat. I would do the whole mime thing. And when I had about, $20, $25, I'd walk down to the local liquor store and I'd buy some Cheerios and yogurt. And I'd live on that for 3 or 4 days. And I would have Cheerios and yogurt for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And that seemed normal because I was in California and it was 72 and sunny every freaking day.
Right.
So who cared? You know what I mean? And I was 21, 22 years old. And that was just life, because it beat the crap out of what I was doing at home if I had stayed, which would have been a waiter in Boston or something, waiting tables. And I just didn't want to do that. I wanted to come out here and live this lifestyle. And then eventually, I kind of made my way around, and I got into the industry a little bit. I had an agent. I went out on commercials.
Let's talk about surviving in this town. People don't quite get when you come to LA, I came in '88 with nothing, and I survived for an entire week on a watermelon and a bag of Mahatma rice.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's very specific.
It was a big. Oh no, I'll never forget, because I made a decision that week that this I'm gonna give it like 2 more years here, and then I'm done, because I'm not. This is not life, you know. And you just and so that I get that you. The woman I was with at the time, she had a job as a waitress, and she'd get $15, and we'd go right to Rock and Roll Ralph's on Sunset and buy. It's another thing that happened. I got a generic. We were buying all generic. Remember, it was the white thing with the blue stripe. It said coffee.
Yeah.
And so I bought like 10 generic things, and the guy goes, "Hey, you gonna pay with generic money?" And I remember thinking, I was just like, coffee is the one thing I always get, nice coffee. And so this is a tough town. So wait, how did you get mime training in Boston? Like that's where you got mime training, and then
back
you came
east,
out
yeah.
here?
I mean, keep in mind,
your parents were already hated you at this point.
Well,
Mom,
yeah,
Dad,
I mean,
I'm gonna be a mime.
Well, one of the bits I did on stage, and here I am doing a bit in front of 2 comedians.
Do it.
So good luck with this.
No, that's funny.
But one of them was, I would
you're
picture my, I was back in California, and I'm trying to make a living doing mime on the pier down in Westwood or something, and there's my father at some cocktail party in some fancy place in Watch Hill, Rhode Island, and he's talking to 2 other friends from the yacht club. What's your son Robert doing now? Well, he's over at MIT Medical. He's just cured cancer. And then the other kids, that's another kid's, what's your kid doing? Well, he's a big hedge fund guy. He's renovating his 3rd home. And Tony, what's your He's a mime at the pier, okay? Are you happy? He's a mime. I'm sorry. That's all he could amount to, so I just blew the levels right out of this room on the thing over there. But yeah, I mean, it was a little embarrassing for the folks, because they just assumed that I was going to come home and be a salesman like my father or something, but I didn't care. I mean, I loved it here, man, and I didn't care being poor, because I didn't know anything else. But I always figured it out, man. I mean, if somebody needed a table made, I made the table. If I had a handyman job, I did it. If I got a gig, I was with this company where you'd go out to Vegas all the time, and I'd do a statue on a freaking table at a buffet. I would just dress up as an Indian. I would just hold this for 45 minutes at a time, and occasionally I would glance down and wink at people and then go back to the thing, you know what I mean? Or I'd be whatever, you know what I mean? Because I had, I was pretty fit at that point, and
wow,
you got paid $100, man. I got $100 to go to Vegas,
and
then you'd gamble it all away, and you'd leave with nothing.
You got a gig though. You're like,
I had a gig.
Got a gig. People go, where are you going? I got a gig.
I got a gig in Vegas.
Yeah,
yeah. Me and 50 other people.
She had that pizza parlor. Like you had a gig.
I had a gig, an unpaid gig. That every time I would stand at the door and tell my little jokes, and I was very nervous about my new little jokes about Mom and Dad. It was very, Richie Cunningham. And every time someone would come in to get pizza, the door would open in front of me, and I would have to time my punchlines for when the door would close.
Oh my God, that's a thing?
It was amazing. And then the guy that put it on was he wanted to be in a band, and so he had bought an amp that was about this tall, and he was right next to me, and the place was this big, and every time I would tell a joke, he would go
like it was bad, dude. I went and watched it the place only sat 7 TV, and I sat in the corner one time watching, and she'd do a joke, and it would get a response. Dude.
Well, anybody who's worth their weight in whatever. I didn't have an end of that sentence.
Yeah. That's not the first time.
Can we edit this? They're weight in gold, they're weight in silver, they're weight in whatever. Weight in pizza. Is that everybody has a story, you know what I mean? I mean, not too many people come to this town and just sort of knock it out of the park, and they go from soap opera to TV series to movie star. It just doesn't really happen that way. There's all kinds of, bumps in the road. And, I lived in the same apartment for 21 and a half years with a view of a convalescent home. And my friends, the joke was, look, dude, your next place is right across the alley. It wasn't like I had a long way to go.
We'll help you move because it's right there.
Yeah,
of course we'll help you move.
Yeah, we'll just throw it out the window and it'll land in the yard across the
So when did you, so you did
Let
that for a while.
Let me ask a question really quick. What's the difference? Because I work at the Salvation Army, and I have kids that are in there that are musicians, and they won't take a job washing dishes, and I'm arguing with them about this. They're living on the streets. They've been out here for 2 years. They're living in the back of a pickup truck or whatever, trying to make it. What's the difference? What's the disconnect there versus what you did? Is it the way you were raised, or?
I think so. I mean, I just didn't want to have an all or nothing kind of life. I mean, I wanted to have a decent roof over my head. I mean, my first mattress I found in an alley. I mean, it wasn't like, I had any furniture in the place.
Right.
You got an unfurnished place, and my roommates and I would just kind of scour the alleys and go, what is that, little Lysol? We're good to go. You know what I mean?
Right.
And we had a couch without cushions because it was in the alley without them, and and we didn't have our dining room table was a picnic table that we had pulled out of a backyard from a house that we were painting at the time, and it was filled with termites. I mean, just filled. I mean, you could blow on it, the thing would collapse. But as a handyman, I'd throw some nails in there, and I just lacquered the damn bugs into the table. I mean,
that's awesome.
we'd have girls over, and they'd they'd be eating their breakfast, whatever, and there'd be like a frozen, lacquered termite looking up. There's bugs in your table. I go, man, yeah, you want to sit on the floor or do you want to sit at the freaking picnic table? And that's how it was, but it was awesome, because every day was a new adventure, man, and we're meeting new people all the time, and all of us were really gregarious guys, and we survived a lot of times just going to happy hours. We'd get our one beer, and, the happy hour would have food, and we would just eat that food, and we'd show up and we'd stick shrimp in our pockets and eat those the next day.
The actor life, man.
Yeah,
just anything you can get. If someone threw a party, you went to all the parties because there was some food and some drink there. You always, any place you got invited?
I used to. When I was in college, I would switch the meat labels. I would take the drumstick price sticker in Walmart and where I had to walk, and then use the grocery cart to take my stuff back down the street. But I would get chicken breasts, but I would put this is totally illegal, don't do this, it's very bad, and put the $1 something price on the chicken breast so that I could afford to eat something that didn't kill me.
So you're doing a little label switch in the grocery store?
Yeah, but let's not lay on that.
Popping
No,
tags.
I think that's a great idea, everybody. I think
She was
sign up for
popping
that.
tags.
All right. Now here's what you do: you get your goo gone, bring it with you, and then make the switch.
She's got a lot of larceny in her.
I had to. I was hungry. I remember calling my brother on the landline and saying, I'm hungry, I need help. And he brought me one sleeve of saltine crackers and a can of tuna. And I remember thinking, this is going to last a few days. This was awesome, know?
But, to answer your question, what's the difference between kids who are sort of just showing up and living in their car and not?
Yeah.
I had some skills. I had mime that helped survive, and I also had carpentry skills. So it was easy for me to be, to make things and, do errands for people and things like that. And the mime, when things got really desperate, it was always there. And either I starve to death or I go down to the pier, I go into Westwood or wherever it is, and I put that hat down, and I would, I could see how much was in there typically. Right. And I mean, I was, I had a lot of fun. I mean, I had fun some days, but when you're performing, street performing with the main goal to feed yourself, it's not a whole lot of fun, especially when people are kind of making fun of you or taking your money and stealing your money, and that happened once in a while too. So, yeah, I mean, when you're on stage and you got a good audience and it's packed with your pals and you're feeling good and you're getting, applause breaks, it's like, oh, yes, this is why I'm here. But when you're on the street, and it's 98 degrees and, you're just getting fried out there for hours waiting for a couple.
Wearing black vest, black hat, black pants.
And you got mime makeup on. And then when you take it off, your skin's all fried, right? Right here. But it's all
just kind of
white.
giant
It's
circle.
still kind of white. Because it acts as a beautiful sunscreen.
Yeah.
I will tell you.
So there was a day you went, okay, this I can't do that. You did stand up, you didn't like it. Stand up is just as hard as anything. It has to burn in you in a certain way where you have to go through lifts. I believe everybody could learn how to be decent stand up. I believe but you have to have that commitment to go through that really hard shitty time.
Yeah, man.
And it's really a tough time to break through that. She stuck through it because I made her.
Well, that's great. You had that support system.
You were my tough time. I actually, if anyone, we could do a whole podcast on the treachery I had to go through.
Treachery?
Okay.
You're welcome.
Okay, passing behind the stage, behind the curtain, I'm new. I had just gone out and just completely tanked in Houston at the Improv, huge club, and I am dying inside because it was, even I was like, that was awful. I get backstage, the MC is introducing him, and he is behind the curtain yelling at me, what the fuck were you just doing? You sound like Al Gore. Ladies and gentlemen, Christopher Titus. And I'm like, and then he just, that was...
I told her, I said, hey, you're not
and
my...
this thing worked out.
I said, you're not my girlfriend right now. You're my opening act. I go, you want to get good at this? I go, she'd already worked on for 6 years. I don't know. I have this thing. I'm not saying saying it's a good thing, but I have this thing. It's like the only way to get people through stuff. It's like that old martial arts thing. It's like you don't coddle. You go, this is what you did wrong. Change it.
It was
Yeah,
great.
but yeah,
I coddle you now.
Hey man, I mean, it's all part of the process. He and I were talking about the marvelous Mrs. Maisel the other day, and Sean and I just binge watched through that thing.
Yeah.
And it's just that show is like a play, a musical, and a movie every week. It's just the most amazing thing. But it's all based in those those things that you guys have experienced, and I certainly did on those open mic nights. You know what I mean? When you just show up and it's whatever. You got that list of comics. All right, Horton, you're 12:30. 12:30. I mean, it's 8 o'clock.
It's Tuesday, and by the way,
it's a Tuesday night, 8 o'clock, and I'm in Burbank, and everybody's outside smoking cigarettes, trying to make each other laugh, and you just go, "Why am I here?
Yeah.
I could be doing mime at the pier and making $25."
That's pretty bad when that's your upside.
Yeah, your upside is whatever.
Yeah.
But I mean, and you guys stuck it out, which is amazing. But what it did for me is it just gave me confidence in front of a camera, in front of a large group of people. Like I don't get scared ever.
I didn't think about that street performer. Wow, if you,
man.
because you're right. In stand up in a show, you're in a controlled space. There's bouncers there. On the street, you're your bouncer. You're the MC. You're the show.
You're your accountant because you got to make sure that
Oh, and you have
people
to
aren't stealing from you.
And you have to do like promotion right now. Like you're not sending out flyers.
Because people are going by like this, and then all of us, and then I'm
nightmare. And the fucking mime. Wow.
Or the people you're walking by, people, and you're doing stuff behind them, or whatever the heck you're doing. You know what I mean? But I mean, people say, well, how come P90X and the programs you're doing now are so different than everybody else's? Because most trainers don't have that sort of scene study training that I mean, I was with Second City LA for a year or two.
Wow.
I did a fantastic Columbo. That wasn't it, by the way. I just
Right.
want to tell you.
Exactly.
I was doing it with an English accent. I was to throw you off. That's what I was doing.
Amazing.
But yeah, I mean, all that training, and it just helps you be comfortable. And, I mean, look at exercise in general. The reason why not everybody in the country is fit as a fiddle is because it's really hard and they hate it and they don't want to sweat and they don't like physical pain, because with physical pain sometimes comes mental and emotional stuff, and that's just a myriad of things that really brings people down. So I figured, okay, I'm going to create a program that has 12 different workouts for 90 freaking days, and half these workouts are an hour long. What is the one variable there? A lot of it had to do with what we called muscle confusion or whatever. It was just variety, because people usually get bored, hurt, or plateau. So let's give them things that they can work on that are different than what they're used to. That'll be part of it. And, oh, by the way, let's create some fun relationships with the people behind me.
Right.
And then let's just have some freaking fun up here, because, we're going to be doing push-ups and pull-ups, squats and lunges, and if I'm a drill sergeant, that appeals to some demographic, but it doesn't really appeal to the vast majority. I got a letter from a kid just recently. A kid, he's like 45, so everybody younger than everybody's a kid now.
I said that too. I get offended. Thanks, kid. I'm 36. Yeah, well, to me, you're a kid.
Yeah, you're half my friggin' age. You're a kid, okay? But this kid was a former trainer, and then he got involved with drugs and some bad people, ballooned up to 297. And was suicidal and was doing methadone, going to the methadone clinic and doing that, and then doing blow at night. And the guy almost died a couple times. Just an amazing story. And I get 2 or 3 of these a week, And so he basically says, I met this one gal, after that first relationship I got out of it, I started walking around the neighborhood with my niece, on my shoulders, and I lost 20 pounds. And I met this girl who was doing P90X, and she said, have you ever tried it before? And he said, no, that stuff on TV is bullshit. Can I say bullshit?
Yes.
I just did.
Yeah, on a podcast.
Right, cool, it's a podcast.
You can fucking say anything here.
Yeah, right on. Well, I have a fan base. They get nervous. Oh, my God. Yours is different. My fan base is a little different. But, so, this gal turned him onto it, and he said that first routine, I was heaving. I thought, man, I can't believe he got hooked because it was so hard.
Interesting.
And then he came all the way down to 190, cleaned himself up, got off the methadone. Now he's married with 2 kids and still does my programs. And you think to yourself, here you are, you're in your little lair, you're doing your thing, and, it's going out to the world, and you have no real idea what kind of effect it has on people. But I read a version of that story weekly, and it makes you feel like, holy crap, this is a powerful thing, and I'm making a living doing it. It's pretty fun, man.
P90X, because I was doing fitness competitions, and I fell in love with it. I asked for it I think I got it for Christmas from my dad. And it changed the landscape of fitness, because nobody was really doing functional fitness and dynamic stretching. Nobody had ever really explained that. And you could do it all at home. You didn't have to go to the gym.
Right.
You could do it at home, and it would kick your butt 10 times worse than a trainer at a gym with weights or whatever. It really changed, I thought. And now everybody kind of copies that. You can see how so many things that came after that are based in what you did because you
Right.
changed it. So is this next thing next level? Is it similar, or have you changed that?
Well, it's not always easy to kind of reinvent the wheel, right? Because I've never been somebody, if you look at a lot of trainers, they get sort of stuck in a rut that they're familiar with. They'll stick to kind of a Pilates theme or a yoga theme or a weightlifting theme.
Well, to change workout, you'd have to change. We have to evolve, grow in a third arm, another arm or something.
Yeah,
Like we are what we are.
Yeah.
There's so many exercises.
But I like that. I like being, Dr. Jekyll on that stuff.
Right.
I like to reinvent that thing. If there's a push-up sidearm balance, well, why isn't there a Superman push-up sidearm balance? Jab down strike. You know what I mean? So I like functional fitness where you're combining a lot of different types of moves. And sometimes they get a little complicated and there's a learning curve, but there's nothing wrong with that either. You know what I mean?
But martial arts too, though.
Martial arts.
It's a good thing.
Think about hook. Like one of the moves in the new one is back fist cross front kick back kick. That takes a little bit of this, right?
Yeah.
But we break it down. We go really slow, and we show that combination of those different types of movements.
Oh, I forgot there was a martial arts video.
Yes, there
I
was.
forgot about
Kempo
that.
in there, and Kempo was
Kempo,
the hardest one. It was one that took me the longest to develop because I had no background in that whatsoever. So I started going to classes. I started hanging out with they gave me a whole year of research. But now it comes more naturally because I noticed it was one of my weaknesses, and I just worked on it and got better at it. And I really enjoy it because of the skill. You're not hitting stuff. You're not hitting an opponent. You're not hitting a bag. You know what I mean? But at least you're learning these basic moves, like what's the difference between a hook and an elbow, or a down strike with an elbow, or a hammer, or a claw. There's all these, or one of the moves is elbow claw, which is it's really fun to learn these types of movements. So when you do all that combination of different types of things, for me the next level had to be like, okay, well I can't kind of repeat what I've done in the past.
Right.
You're
going to get called on it in this society. You're going to get called.
People
on
get called on it all the time.
Twitter,
and they're
and
similar.
there's
similarities there.
Yeah.
But the pull-up bar is there, the push-ups are still there, but we add some real, like one of them is called a Superman plunge, which is you go all the way to the floor, you do Superman, right? So you're extending your arms.
I
and
did
your legs.
these.
Yeah, and then you go up into the top of a push-up, and you're doing an isometric thing where you bring your shoulders out over your fingers, and you get your thoracic spine really high. So you're going maximum height, maximum depth, as opposed to just doing push-ups, which you see everybody else.
So these, just people, you should check this out when it comes out, because this he said by the way, just don't do push-ups. And he goes, do it like this, and you basically chest to the ground, arms off the ground. And what happens is it releases everything, and then you got to start over again. There's no constant tension. So
no
you have
momentum, no.
Yeah, you have to create.
No doing it halfway.
Big fan of momentum on push-up. Big fan.
Yes.
Oh, love.
So you totally relax everything, and you're laying, and you're down, and your arms off the ground, and you got to start over again. And I did. You said it's about a third. You can do this a third as many. You'll be just tired. It's exactly. I can crank off 30 push-ups, no problem. I did 10, and I was like, okay, this is horrible. This is horrible.
Yeah, because I also make you come to the very, very top, get your arms completely straight, get the shoulders over the fingers, and so you're just incorporating more muscles. Mm-hmm. There's more muscle activation. The range of motion is almost twice as much as a standard push-up. And so I don't know. I just love, people think, well, what else do you do? Just sit around and think about this crap. I do go on vacation.
Your job, though.
I go on vacation and hang out with my wife and dogs, too.
Speaking of, let's talk about your wife. No,
I'm
I'm glad we got to the most important part of this.
All this other stuff is crap.
His wife is awesome.
She is awesome.
I just have to say this. She amazes me as far as organization. I told him, so I'm going to go out with your wife soon. And she said, what time do you want to go? And I said, well, it's rooftop. It's beautiful to watch the sunset. So, I'm a comedian. I was like, we'll just start driving when it starts to get a little darker, And she sends back, well, the sun is going to set that evening at approximately 8:07 p.m., so we should arrive at 7. Yeah. And I was like, wow, I want to be like her someday. It'll
awesome.
never happen.
It's awesome and creepy.
And she's just like me. Yes. I didn't, people, they say opposites attract. Well, I'm a narcissist, so I just married basically a really hot looking
Me too.
Yeah. Because you look exactly like that.
People, his friend said that it's a good friend of his, and he's dating a girl that he says is comfortably beta. He goes, that's how you got to do it, man. He goes, the two of you just walk around your house all day rutting, trying to gain ground with each other.
I pee on something,
true.
then she pees on it, then I walk back around and pee on it again. Yeah, but I like alpha chicks. Alpha chicks are by far the best.
Well, I think so. I didn't get married till my 50s, and I dated a lot of, beautiful women that were smart, but there was a lot of friction, a lot of arguments. We've been together 10 years, and I think we've argued. I mean, seriously, like kind of went at it 5 times in 10 years. You know, and my wife has a very, very long fuse, which is really, really cool. And she doesn't hold a grudge. I mean, there's so many things that are dude-like about her that, you know, just made it perfect for me. I would have been single the rest of my life and been perfectly happy. I like being alone, like doing my own thing, at my own, you know, I'm going to go skiing this week. I'm going to go, you know, I'm going to go ride my bike. I'm going to do, you know, whatever. I'm going to sleep until 10 o'clock. But, you know, now I'm with a partner that really, we complement each other really, really well. And here's what's really cool is you guys, you know, we like you because you're like us. That's why we like you.
Back
you
to that narcissism
thing. We get along with you guys because they remind us of us. You know what I mean?
Well,
But,
That's why you're friends with people, though.
And it's weird because we've had a couple of parties, and the servers that are at our parties, or the bartenders who have met me, who have worked with me prior to the party to discuss things, have both times gone to your wife to ask her if it was okay if they did certain things.
Yeah, right.
And she'll come up and she'll say, by the way, I told the bar that they could go ahead and do them. I'm like, all right, okay.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, if you lower the lights a little bit, you guys start looking a lot alike.
Yeah.
That's very true. Very true.
Do you have any guilt at all with, you know, the job that you've done? So many people have lost weight. I mean, I can't even imagine if you could tally up all the pounds that people have lost because of him. And do you have any guilt at all because of the fact that larger people, fat people, make much prettier snow angels? Do you feel
I feel horrible about that. Yeah, it's very true. I don't know where to go with this, but that's a hell of a question. That's the first I've ever gotten that one.
Yeah.
But you know, my goal is to help those really beautiful snow angels become ugly again by getting smaller and smaller over time.
You're sort of robbing the world a little bit. In some
that's
ways.
my goal.
I don't want.
Problem is they don't. But here's the thing, they're so fat.
Look at that.
Snow
Look at
angels are
that.
so rare.
Here's what I love about that: the setup. That friggin'
yeah,
setup. Right?
She's
Here
like,
I am,
she's
like, okay, I'm.
But fat snow angels, by the way, they're so rare because fat people can't get back up off the snow. So when you find one, it is like a unicorn.
Are you both fat shaming right now? You know,
I'm not
I don't
fat
believe
shaming.
I have to kick your asses. Okay?
So here's the problem. We did.
I was complimenting. I mean, you've seen
she's being
the snow
funny,
angels.
but I do want to talk about this because we did it. I have this thing. Again, I'm straightforward about stuff. I don't. Well, I have fans and some of them are overweight, and my thing is that, look, guys, I love you. You have to know that I love you. What I do is I want you here longer. I want you here longer.
Bingo.
I want you to last.
Right.
So we did an episode of the podcast before we went to video, and thanks again for being on this, man. I can't believe we got Tony Horton. It's awesome. But we did a thing called the Fatcast, and we were very straightforward about it. I went down the health. Here's what's going to happen. I go, here's what's going to fail first. You're going to die earlier than me. I'm going to last 20 years longer than you because I'm 100 pounds lighter. It's just going to happen. I'm not mad at you. I'm not fat shaming you. You are going to die. Do you get it? Mm-hmm. And we called it Fatcast. And man, we were fairly harsh because she knows she competed at the Excalibur twice, did very well. She got to crazy shape, and so it's hard, it's work, but once you get there, it's half that to maintain it. Even if, you know, you just got to work.
We got some killer letters from that
yeah,
too, because
people lost hundreds.
People, actually, it motivated them. So some people do respond to tough love, like you do. But one guy said that he listens to it every day on the treadmill, and he lost 180 pounds, I think.
We'd show up to the shows, and
Good
we were
God,
like,
man.
over the couple years, he'd just show up and we're like, dude, like what?
So we're doing the Lord's work here at the Titus
right on.
Podcast.
I
too.
think we've got to this place when you said you fat shaming. We've got to this place in our society where you can't point out the obvious. You know, I'm very clear that I'm harsh. I'm a harsh guy. I'm straightforward about stuff. I'm an asshole. Let's make it ugly. Thank you.
I was waiting until you were really making it nice for a second.
No, it's not. I wasn't trying to make it nice, but I'm a lovable ass one, and I do it for a positive reason. Let's cut through all this emotional. Okay, I know you're upset. I feel bad. I know you're making me feel. I'm not making you feel bad. I'm telling you, you're gonna die. And that's what. So how do you deal with that? Because you I know you're doing a lot. You're doing like all this stuff, the big corporate stuff, and corporations have you come in and go, we want you to change the overall view of our employees' fitness. And then you go there, and do you ever feel like, oh man, this isn't going to be impossible?
Well, the one thing I learned from comedy back in the day, I didn't learn much, but I learned about kind of assessing your audience,
right.
And I know that when I go to a corporate gig, there's a certain kind of a vibe. When I go to a CrossFit gym, obviously, there's a very different kind of vibe. And so, sometimes you're a therapist, sometimes you're a drill sergeant, sometimes you're some combination thereof. You have to kind of coddle. You got to be people's shrink to some degree. I lean toward your tactic and your technique. I mean, you've been in my house, man.
Yep. Oh yeah.
You know what it's like.
Oh, I've been
around friends. My thing is like, oh, you're a little bit freaked out about the rope. How about this? Your family's up there and they're on fire. And so your job is to get your ass up the rope and save their life. Or you can be down here and be scared.
It's like being at your house right now,
So
right? You're yelling.
I'm going to count down to 5, and you have to make a decision. All right? So
Right.
either move your ass up and get up there, and then come on down and feel like a freaking hero, or stay down here and your whole family dies. Here's your choice.
I would say which family member.
Yeah, which family? Can I pick who's up there and who
You know what I
isn't?
mean? But I don't do that when I'm on the road,
Right.
and I look out in the audience, and I do a corporate gig, and there's like 4 people up front who've bought my stuff, and everybody else doesn't know who I am, and they're back going, that guy's going to kill me.
Right.
And so my tactic is, hey man, here's the drill. I'm going to show you 3 ways to do this thing. One that's really extreme, one that's somewhere, a little bit more modified. And for those of you that just are petrified, let's have some fun and see what you can do. You know what I mean? Because, and my whole thing is, if you're overweight, you're probably overwhelmed. I mean, I don't know too many people who
That's interesting, yeah.
That don't feel like, oh wow, look, the escalator's out. Jesus, it looks like Mount Everest for these folks.
Right.
You know what I mean? There's so many situations in your life where you can't get down and put on your shoes. You know what I mean? Like walking up a small hill, you're exhausted. And so I tell folks, forget about the dress sizes and the tape measure and the belts and how you look. You know, in front of your friends, and you're looking for all that, egotistical, aesthetic compliments coming from people, and just focus on what you can do today. And there are people, Jeremy Yost is an example, a guy who lost 180 pounds doing P90X, who had no reason to do it. He had a fused right ankle.
Wow.
He was obese. Oh, like one of these guys wear rotunda, And, his friend of his said, it was amazing. He actually put him in the infomercial because his story was so compelling, and he changed so many lives just because he was in that original show. And he wrote 2 lists, the reasons why I should do this thing and the reasons why I should not. And the reasons why he shouldn't do it was just because it was too hard, or he liked being lazy, and he liked eating, corn chips or whatever it was, and hot dogs. And the other one was all about him and who he is on this earth, and how he is as a father, and how he is as an employee and a boss to other people. I mean, it was so compelling as reasons why. And, at close to 400 pounds, he was just marching in place half the time because he couldn't do the pull-ups, the push-ups, the squats, the crunches, anything. But he just kept being in the room, and he watched his diet. And 180 pounds later, he was on tour with me, around the world, going to Korea and going to, from all over Europe and stuff, on stage. And then we'd throw up his big 400-pound picture, and people were just blown away by that. So, it's a physical thing, obviously, but it's also a mental and emotional thing. When you exercise, and you guys both know this, when you leave plyo, when you show up to plyo, it's like, oh, Christ, what am I doing here? This is fucking horrible. But when you leave, norepinephrine, dopamine, serotonin, brain-derived neurotropic factor, BDNF,
it's awesome.
It's like, bang, your head's alive. Cognition, memory, sleep, sex drive, all the good stuff kicks in.
Even your nervous
system. You
system.
don't need blow or weed or anything else. It just comes naturally.
Well, what you do when we do plyos, and the same with Ninja Sunday, it activates your nervous system, too, in a way that you're not used to, that the world doesn't let us do. The world's a linear place. I have to get here, and I have to do that. I have to pick that up. I have to put down. I'm going to drive here. You going through your workouts. You do feel it's like how I felt after martial arts. It actually a
little adrenaline kick.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. It's not even that. I feel more attuned to everything I can do. When you're doing those one-legged things, he does these. What are those things where you're on one foot, you got to keep your other foot off the ground, but next to the other foot, and then you got to touch the ground.
Yeah, single leg iso squats.
Oh my God! It's like you have to have so much balance to pull that off.
Yeah, and all you're doing is you're standing there, you lift your foot off the ground, and you touch the ground with your opposite hand. Like, it doesn't sound like much, but you go from being completely comfortable to holy crap, this is hard.
I can't do
and you know what I mean? It doesn't really, and then we do that 20 per side. Your ankle and your butt cheek are on fire.
Yeah, like right now. Yes, right now. From 2 days ago, everything hurts, but
But you're a hero, man. The guy
I'm a
blew
hero.
a tire. He blew a tire,
know.
right? And then he called. I don't know if you know this. He calls Sean and my wife, and he says, "Yeah, I blew a tire, but I got it fixed." And he goes, when Tony Horton tells you to come to plyo, it's like Jesus asking you to go to church. You just do it. You know what I mean?
Did he just add the Jesus part about
No, I
himself?
told him
or,
that.
Okay.
I
Just
No,
making- just making
Jesus
sure.
Church, Tony Plyo, separate.
Yeah, separate.
But
I-
both muy importante, my
Sí.
friend.
Yeah.
See.
Yeah. No, I actually I said I can't make him get. And then we get to the tire place, and he said it's not that big a deal. I go fix it. I go, I can still make it. And I always asked her. I was mad.
There's also
because I got to drive a long way to your freaking house.
You do, man.
Through LA traffic.
I know.
I'm committed to that
It is.
workout.
I know, and I drove that same distance here in the middle of the day on a Wednesday, so I got here in 30 minutes. Boom!
Well, because we schedule it that way, because
You did,
I
man.
care about
Avoided
you
the traffic flow.
as opposed to how you care about the people that are coming to your house. But you're taking care of us, so it's good.
See that?
Yeah, it's free. It's a free.
Yeah, exactly. I had to work at Tony workout.
Yeah.
How far to drive? Yeah.
Yeah,
Why do you do that? Do you do it? Does it help keep you accountable?
absolutely.
Okay.
I wouldn't do it.
Interesting.
I mean, you see that invite list on a Monday night or whatever the night before. There's 40 plus people on that list. Guaranteed 2 or 3 are coming. And plyo on a Monday night, after whatever, or the weekend, is about the last thing on God's earth I want to do. But 2, 3, 4, and sometimes as many as 25 will show up. Every single workout that I do, I work out 5 to 6, sometimes 7 days a week. There's always people that are invited about the day before, and they know the routine, they know the schedule. And some days are shoulders and arms, some are chest and back, some just like tonight at cardio. There's 3 guys coming. If all 3 canceled, boom, night off. Yeah.
No, it'll never happen.
No,
never. You'll still get in there and do your.
No, I won't. No, honestly.
He says that every.
Brilliant. Actually.
At the end of every workout, Tony will say, "You guys, thanks for coming. I know you guys think it's a big deal that you're here, but I wouldn't do this without you guys." He's the only kind. He's Tony freaking Horton. He acknowledges us. It's annoying. Like you're a good guy too. Like you're in great shape. It's so annoying how perfect you are. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, wow.
I've seen you be a douchebag
Here's what's
once.
funny. We're both so enamored with each other. You know what I mean? Like that's the weird. It's like when a C- celebrity meets a B+ guy.
No.
You know what I mean? Because you're B+.
That's not it.
You're B+.
That is not.
I'm
no,
C-.
I'm
C-.
no,
we're like going off on our level of celebrity. But yeah, it's really for me it's cool for me.
Product plug. Where's the shirt? Speaking of celebrity.
Oh, it's my
Fame is lame.
So
I love this shirt. I actually am gonna steal his.
This is awesome. I have one of these.
So he also, on top of everything else, has clothing.
I have a couple little
Fame
side
is lame.
gigs. You know
I
what I
love
mean?
this shirt.
It's very awesome.
Yeah.
Such a great phrase, man.
Yeah. I don't know why
What's
no
the
one else
other
would have
one?
thought of that and trademarked it and put it on a T-shirt. But when you think
By the way,
about
just
it,
know, I
the
want everyone to
other
know he
one?
mentioned the trademark.
You cannot steer.
Hey, this one.
Yeah.
Aging is for idiots. You can get these at TonyHorton.com.
TonyHortonLife.com.
TonyHortonLife.
Someone had taken the Tony Horton. Did someone take
No, I just wanted to create something a little different. Yeah, I've always both. If you look at both of those T-shirts, there's a little irreverence in both.
Yep.
Like I posted that "Aging is for Idiots" thing, and of course, 30% of my fan base gets mad because their parents have some illness that happened as a result of just genetics. But if you look at life, and this is look, there's genetics, there's behavior, and there's environment. We can control 2 of those things. Genetics I can't control. So, my bilirubin count in my liver when I get my blood taken out is a little high because I got that from my father. Whatever, it's fine. But if I take care of the other 2 things, my environment, right? I'm not like, I haven't parked a tent next to Chernobyl or anything.
Right.
What I mean? I make sure that I drink clean water and I get, I have some, decent airflow in the house, whatever it takes. And I make sure that I exercise and eat right. There's 2 things I control: what I put in my mouth and what I do with my body. The weather, my family, the tax rate. These are a lot of things I can't control.
Tsunamis, earthquakes, not you.
Not me. But the 2 that I can make it a lot easier for me to deal with everything else that's out of my control. And I learned that a long time ago because I'm a C- student with a speech impediment who never graduated from college.
What's the speech impediment?
D student, bro.
What was it?
D student.
D student.
D2, DF,
Yeah.
DF.
Yeah, I say C- just to up it up a little bit because I had D's and F's. I had the attention span of a gnat on crack. You know what I'm saying? Like I had ADD,
actually, both of you
ADHD.
together.
Right.
Both of you have something stuck to your face now.
Thank you, dear.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Bombshell.
Let's get back to the speech impediment.
Here's the crazy thing is I inherited that from my father and my grandfather. Both my father and grandfather had it, and for whatever reason I had it too, which is crazy. Why would you inherit that? In the end, I did some research, and it's called cluttering, and it's just the inability to be able to slow down and say every word and be more specific. And look at his face. Dude, you might have a version of it. Maybe you overcame it on your own. What I would do is I would read out loud into a tape recorder. And when I was a kid and I was petrified and I was speaking at 1,000 miles an hour and words would sort of pile up on top of each other. See what you're learning today? That's why I'm here,
dude.
He's here to heal you as well.
Dude, and also to be a comedian, like I find, especially when I'm working
I bet you're on stage, it doesn't happen on stage.
Not as much.
At the beginning of a new show, with new writing, it does. Because I'm racing, because I don't trust the joke and I'm racing to it. And I will start, I've done it on the podcast.
He'll do like the last
Armageddon
10
updates.
words. become one, and then he won't necessarily finish the sentence. He'll start the next one. And I've had people ask, do you know what he just said? And I always know because I'm a Christopher whisperer. And but
is that the first time she said
She's
that?
a Titus whisperer.
Titus whisperer. Yes, I just thought of that.
Christopher
whisperer. But yeah, cluttering.
A good friend of mine, Sean, has it, and we talked about it. He was one of the guys that was on the set this past week doing one of the, he was level 3 out of 1, 2, and 3. And I can see him get going too, because we're all going to get on stage and the camera's going to be on him and there's going to be this interaction. And I can see him start to speed up, and I go, dude, just take your time with it, man. Just own it and just slow it down. You know what I mean? And I still do it too. I can feel it. But the minute it happens, I stop. I take a break. I take that sort of pregnant pause that kind of creates more drama anyway when you just shut up for a second. And then, and then I can hear the words come out of my mouth, whereas before I couldn't control them. They would just fly out at 100 miles an hour.
I had a great coach on Titus because we used to do, when we did the TV show, we had those monologues I have to do to camera all the time. And I would do those monologues,
which were freaking awesome.
But I was always conscious of like we only have so much time in the show. I don't want to get cut, so I'd speed up. And Eva would tell me, she would say, see what you're saying. See, so if you have to every word, if you have to see it, it slows you down. I'm doing it now. On stage, I'll do it because the audience isn't laughing, and I know the jokes are funny, and I'm like, okay, wait, it's me. I'm doing something wrong.
And it'll
back me down.
You know what my bit is? I do a fake reverse. Like I do it on, and that way we don't have to cut and start over again. And I'll say, so anyway, hold on. Now here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do a push-up, sidearm balance, super. You know what I mean? And so that helps me. And here's what it was when I was first starting to do voiceovers and read a teleprompter. The simple thing that I always remember: pretend you're talking to a 3-year-old. Like when you talk to a 3-year-old, hi, Tommy. Oh, wow, really good. You talk like this, and you think in your head that everybody thinks you're talking, but you're not. You're just slowing things down and making it, you're just.
Well, laughter is crack to me. I just want to get to the next laugh, but the problem is that by going that fast, you're not getting a next laugh. Your next laugh will be silence. They will not be a laugh.
That's so true, because when I started comedy, I would have 10 minutes, or I'm totally lying. I had 3, and I would get on stage, and I would practice it at home, and it would be 5 minutes or whatever, and I would do it on stage, and it would be a minute and a half. And then I'd be done. Thank you, good night. And no one would laugh. And so then I slowed it down, and he called me Al Gore. It was really hard. I was trying to find a middle ground.
That's not the only thing I said. I gave you some really good practical advice.
No. Well, when I was first starting, I didn't have any material. I had like 2 or 3 things. So I would just kind of go up on stage and linger. My setups were, forever. Because I knew that I really didn't have enough material. So a friend of mine, one of the girls that I was working with said, you're the most comfortable guy on stage who's got no material. You're just up there, just sort of bullshitting. And
you're failing so well. It's crazy what a confidence.
I think a lot of I kicked you. Did I kick you underneath? I was kind of shooting
I think that was
for
me.
Titus on that one. But the improv stuff helped me a lot. Kind of thinking on my feet. You know what I mean? I did a lot of that, both in college and out here in LA, because I felt comfortable doing that. I love thinking on my feet, working off other actors and stuff. And the simple bit about it's always positive. I learned that right away. Like when you did that thing and you said about snow angels, I went, okay, what's my brain goes to, no, that's stupid. I know not to do that anymore. I know to sort of roll.
Yes, and like
yes, and.
The other day, I went to his house and I was late because of the tire thing. And as I walk, he walks over with his hand out to me, and then he just turned and walked past me. Such a douche. I was like, and I just kept, I went right at him. I didn't stop. I just kept going past him too.
After we both went like, son of a bitch.
He and I also are total whores, and I think you probably are too, because we'll be exhausted. We went to Hootie and the Blowfish last night. I'm embarrassed to say, but we went went to be funny.
We didn't know.
With a friend.
We're too old to be ironic now.
And so I'm tired, but we'll sit here and just be totally exhausted. Someone will turn on a camera, even if it's just an iPhone camera, and all of a sudden we're like, so anyway, and we're brilliantly hilarious and we're alive, and then turn off the camera and we're like, anyway, whatever.
Well, for me, airport, grocery store, pharmacy, street corner, oh my God, Tony, will you do a selfie? You know what I mean? Can you talk to my Uncle Tom who lost 75 pounds? You know, here you are just, you know, wanting to cross the street, and it's Uncle Tom, unbelievable, 45 pounds, you're a superhero, way to bring it, way to get some, I'm looking out for you, man. You and I, best pals, here we go. Happy birthday to you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
You
know
what
exactly. Yes, I
And
know
then it's
exactly.
like, yeah, hand off the camera. But, you know, these people
Yep.
paid for this.
Yeah.
Yep.
They paid for this.
Yes.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
paid for this.
I feel like I
they
owe them.
paid for that water.
I feel like I owe them. I
You
really
do.
do.
I do.
And when people go, will you do a video for my son? I go, where's he at? He goes, well, he's going to Iraq, whatever. This is why. I'll be like, yep, give me the phone.
Yep.
And then I always say something positive. I say something funny and move on.
Every show we do a merch line after, and it's not, you don't have to buy something. It's just in Minneapolis, we had a 4-hour merch line one night, just getting to meet people and listen to every single person's story. And a lot of people will say to him, why do you do that, man? And I tell people it's his favorite part. It's the best moment of, you know, other than getting those laughs, but getting to like connect with people and see how, you know, when I talk about my mom having cancer and people come up and tell me about their dad that had cancer and things like that. I mean, that's the best moment of it, is where you get to see how they got it, you know?
But you're right. Without them, we don't.
Man.
I'm a guy
We're
bitching
living in
into,
a box down by the lake, pal.
yeah, bitching into silence.
Yeah,
I'm still funny, but nobody knows.
Yeah, yeah. You're still doing the crackers in the tuna fish.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
I mean, that's a big deal. You know, I mean, I do the gig for me. The gig starts when I get to the airport, and the gig ends when I land, when I come back from wherever it is. Right. So if I'm there 2 or 3 or 4 days, I'm fully committed to whatever people want of me while I'm where I am. Whether it's inside of an elevator, whether it's, you know, I'm getting in line to whatever to get my room, you know. And so I mean, I have a obligation at this thing every year, and I do it, you know, and it's 4 days, and sometimes I'm contractually obligated to be there from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. and the event will go on till midnight. You know what I mean? People will stay and do their thing, but between 8 and 9, I got to shake hands, take pictures. That's cool. But if like when this event, everybody knows who I am. Obviously, done all the programs. I go in, and a line automatically forms. There's 100 people in line, and it's not like I can get through that line in an hour.
Nope.
And then when people the line is constant until the doors close and everybody leaves. So I know that I have to be there the entire time. So other people who have similar contractual obligations, you know, 8:59, bang, they're out the door. I'm there till midnight.
Yep.
I'm out there till midnight. And last time I was there, you know, whatever, it's about 1:45, and I don't know, I've met hundreds of people so far, and these 5 women show up, and they're all friends, and they've been waiting in line the entire time. Now, if I had left at 9, I would have never met them. They tell me their story of how they met, how they all used to be overweight, how they've made this friendship online, even though from different parts of the country, and they all keep each other accountable. And all 3 of them look like fitness models. And these are women in their 30s and 40s who look, boom, I mean, phenomenal. And we're all crying. There's tears everywhere, and oh my God, I've been trying to meet you for 7 years, and you changed my life. And you know,
That's
it's
awesome.
like if I had left, you know, they would have had to come back the following year and hopefully wait in line to meet me. So, you know, those are really golden moments, man. And that's what it's about, connection.
Yeah.
You know, it's not about stuff. It's not about this or whatever that goes to. Or I do like this shirt though.
I will say this.
But it is. It's about.
I know what a douchebag I really am. When somebody goes, dude, I can't believe you're doing. I'm like, I'm a douchebag like everybody else. I always just go, guys.
Yeah, you're too hard on yourself, man.
No, that's what I
You're
mean.
a lovely, lovely man.
Thank you, man. Stop. That's a weird moment, and I liked it. That'll be the clip. We're talking about Harry's.
Yes.
Yeah, real quick, guys.
Especially since your finger is in my face.
Sorry. Wow, that is a bad thing.
By the way, he got shushed last night at the Hootie and the Blowfish Bare Naked Ladies concert because none of us knew the words, and
Me and Zach. So you know how Hootie sings, right?
Yeah.
We kind of knew the song, but in the words we were going, so Zach and I are behind in row 2 just doing that loudly. And this dude,
do you know how loud you would have to be to get shushed in a concert
dude
at the
turned
Hollywood
around.
Bowl?
Shh. Because Hootie might be his Springsteen,
yeah,
or his Prince.
Yeah.
And,
There were a couple. There were a couple single people there by themselves, dudes sitting around us.
Knew all the words.
Knew all the
Every
words.
single word.
Very straight up and down, sitting. Yep. Oh, it was really sweet.
was awesome.
I did
And
that.
we were
I did that in
assholes.
Eddie Vedder once. You know, his. Hey now, hey how, I mean, whatever. Swing down.
And the fans are like, hey, no, don't
screw with our
no Jesus jokes, no Jesus jokes here, my
I'm actually a
friend.
little offended that you guys are laughing at Eddie Vedder right now.
I know,
because
I
now
know,
you're
I
in
know.
my era, and I'm
No,
not a
I
big
mean,
fan.
he's insanely talented.
So the facial hair is kind of new.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, Shauna likes it.
Yeah,
Shauna likes it.
There you go.
And I got a lot of wrinkles in there, and I don't want to show them
Yeah,
off.
no, let me tell you this.
It covers up
want-
half my wrinkles, man.
If you ever want to take it off, use Harry's Razors. Boom,
Boom,
right there.
segue.
Harry's
What?
Razors. Today's show brought to you by Harry's Razors. Harry's Razors. It's brought to you by Harry's Razors.
See, I'll just-
It'll
Harry's
shave it
Razors.
right off. Harry's Razors. Where did
Take
that
your
come from?
hair off.
Yeah.
From anywhere you can take your hair
Five blades,
off.
German factory. People.
I always actually get an announcement, a post-shower announcement, once you do take hair off of certain parts of your body with a Harry's razor.
Yes, I
He
feel like
comes
a
out.
9-year-old boy again. Yes.
Do I get one? And is it a
Yeah,
parting
we'll
gift
give you
that I
one.
get
Yeah,
to
we'll
use?
give you one.
He actually says freshly shorn.
So what happened was is that we've had Marines and Army in our family, and they locked down to their stuff. This is what I use. And we kept saying Harry's razors, and they were like, they lost a razor, or they used one, and they were like, guys, I need more of these, and they switched.
My dad,
Wow.
ex-Marine, 77 years old, set in his ways.
Yep.
hooked.
Dropping his old razor and doing one of those.
He actually
Yeah,
came up with
exactly.
this non-emotional
Me,
guy, not exciting, called me and he said, Harry's, face the day. And I was like, wow, he just came up with a slogan for this company too. Army Colonel stepdad, you met him.
What is the offer we get today for these people?
Hooked. So you can get the whole trial set. You guys know it comes with the handle, the blade, the shave gel, and the travel cover. All you have to do is go to harrys.com/Titus. harrys.com/Titus to get that. We love Harry's. They've been supporting us for 3 years now.
Yep.
Wow.
And also speaking of working out, hey, when you work out, do you
This is the worst
do you
segue
work
ever.
use a high performance
transition.
high performance brief of some sort?
Do I?
Yeah.
I actually do.
Okay, because we
You know who you're talking to, right?
Yes.
So
So-
low performance brief over here.
I love performance. My left testicle just hangs
Just
out
like-
all the time. These are horrible.
Yeah. Can't keep the boys in place.
Actually made of sandpaper. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Wow. Okay. Can we just all agree no briefs? Could we just anybody?
That's a
No?
word about it.
I thought you were
So
promoting another
MeUndies.
brief or
No,
something.
we have
We are. They do have briefs.
also sponsored by.
MeUndies. And
You like
actually,
MeUndies? I know you like MeUndies, right?
guy.
You like them. Yeah.
This guy.
I know you like MeUndies, don't you?
This
don't
guy
you like
creeps
MeUndies?
my 15-year-old niece out. She actually just hung up. So MeUndies, they send us things. So a month ago, they sent us matching Star Wars onesies. And
With hoods. Oh, those are so
it's
cool.
all the micro modal, like that fabric
the
that's always
coolest.
cold. So I'm a big fan.
Yes.
And now
it stays cool when it's warm. It stays warm when it's cool.
it's
That stuff?
amazing.
Yeah,
So they sent us now. He got matching. We got their pineapple. He got the
Pineapples
long-
on my pants, and then on my
and
socks.
and then I got the thong and the booty socks.
So we walk around the house like that all the time.
We slide, on the wooden floors in our
With the
pineapple.
dogs. and the dog
to be a
stays-
fly on the wall.
But here's what I like about the company. It's what I like about you too, is that you do your job. You do your job very well, and you have a lot of fun doing it. And that's what I think MeUndies does.
They're very irreverent.
Yeah, very reverent. And I also for many years wore a high performance brief. I have now switched to MeUndies.
No,
'Cause
these
I love
are the
MeUndies.
high performance briefs.
I'm just saying that I had an old company that I used all the time that was known as, and now compared to this modal fabric, it's rough.
This might also sound weird, but I sent
Anything weirder than what kind of briefs you wearing?
Yeah, I sent some to my father for Father's
That's
Day.
kind of weird.
I thought it was a little bit, but there's something when I find a good product, we only take products that we like and believe in. We've turned down a lot of companies. And so I thought, my dad's outside. He has 50 acres and horses and 20 dogs and 18
And
cats.
Shauna,
and
my wife,
birds
hasn't
and-
run there yet. That sounds like
I know,
a place
I know.
you'd want to be.
And so he's outside sweating and stuff all the time. And I thought, I should send my dad some of these. And I sent him briefs, but they're black. So I thought a little extra spice for him, maybe. Probably no spice. But anyway, he's hooked. He loves them. He wants more. And he's a tough customer.
Right. So if you'd like to try out MeUndies, because I know you like MeUndies.
And they say it'll feel like your loins are being hugged by joy itself.
Wow.
Great.
Wow. Wow.
Phelps, that's a great pitch. We're putting that in.
So 15% off your first order, free shipping, 100% satisfaction guarantee. Go to Mandy's.com/Titus, Mandy's.com/Titus.
And so I have a couple things for you. So let's say you're a fan of ours and you watch our podcast, and now they're watching Tony Horton, and they're like, well, man, I'm like 320. I'm irritated, because that's another thing too, is people get irritated by people that are in shape. You weren't always. You were ever like a big dude, but you weren't always. What are the couple of things that you would say to people that are like, all right, here's how you get started. Here's how you get through that first day, because that's it. And now it's when I work out, it's the first 5 minutes. How do I get my ass out of bed and get to the gym? So what do you do to tell people to get moving? 3 things. Got it.
You need a purpose.
Mm-hmm.
You need a plan.
Mm-hmm.
And you need to be accountable to what you're doing. And so purpose is, write down in your own handwriting, or however you want to do it. You can put it here if you want. But I like handwriting, you know what I mean? Stick it up on your refrigerator. Just a little reminder as to why you're doing what you're doing. And I would highly recommend that it's not because you want to look a certain way in the future, and you don't want compliments from your friends and family, and you don't want to make a comparison to how you used to look like when you were young and fit. So you just write down, hey, I want to work out today because I understand the importance of what it is and how it affects my life right now, right here. You know what I mean? And so I'm not, the past is the past, the future is the future. All you've got is right now, right? So the thing here is to focus on what it is that you need to do to be a better human being. Because if you understand that it's not just a physical thing, but a mental and emotional thing, that you are all of these things, right? So my reason to exercise is, as a 61-year-old, or at least I will be in a couple days, is that I just feel amazing. I have more energy. I sleep better. I don't need blue pills to have sex with my wife. You know what I mean? These are some basic things.
Right.
Like I feel, and I have as much energy and enthusiasm for life as I did, or more so than I did in my 20s. Because when I was in my 20s, I was hungover a lot, you know what I mean? Or I was high, or I was filled with, fat, salt, sugar, and cheese, you know what I'm saying? So I just made these dietary changes, and I started moving my butt. So, my reason is to just feel 1,000 times better than I ever would. And it's the whole science behind norepinephrine, dopamine, serotonin, the stuff I talked about before.
So what he's saying is, guys, pick a future, what you want to be. Live into a future that lights you up. So purpose. So I will be this. And it's funny because when we pick...
But, you won't only be that, but you will be that the day you work out.
Right.
I mean, you might look in the mirror and go, okay, I don't see any different there. But there is a biochemical shift that has happened inside of your body because you have pumped this oxygen into your blood that's gone into your brain that changes your perspective.
And also be accountable. See, it's easy to say, but what I learned is I tell people. Mm-hmm. I tell people, I was drinking pretty hard for a while, and I stopped. I really just cut it to almost nothing, and I told everybody. I made sure I told everybody, because
that's a way to be accountable.
Because then, if you speak it, people like then you start showing up hammered, like, dude, what do you do?
Yeah, hypocrisy looks really good on you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's really great. But the other thing is plan. Number 2 is a plan. If you wing it, you won't do it, right? So it's like everything else in life. What time did I have to get here to be here on time? 5 minutes before I left, because I was screwing around. But anyway, you know what I mean? Like Shauna says, hey, you're going to be late. I go, what's 1:30? She says, it's 1 o'clock. Well, there you go.
You're right.
So
I'm going to be late.
Like all of a sudden. But I was maybe relatively on time. I drove like a bat out of hell. But, that's the other thing. You got to write down what you're going to do and when you're going to do it, right? You got to schedule stuff. You schedule when you're going to go to work. You schedule what time you're going to get up. You schedule every aspect of your life if you're a normal human being. You schedule when you're going to pay your bills because, they're going to come after you if you don't.
They take your stuff.
They take your stuff. So you write down, plyo's at 6 o'clock on Mondays. Shoulders and arms is at 7:30 a.m. on Tuesdays. Wednesday, which is tonight, 5:30 cardio with some friends. Tomorrow morning, same thing. Chest and back, it's at 7:30. And then Friday, sometimes I have off. Sometimes I'm doing something else. I go for a run with my buddy Scott. Saturday is either yoga at 4 p.m. or at 9 a.m. And then Sundays is, 5 hours of hell that starts at 9 a.m. It's already figured out. Everybody knows the drill. That's what I do. That's who I am. I don't veer from that. When I travel, obviously things change. Or when I have a gig or something, I work it in.
Okay, but so here's my question, though. Okay, so we got the plan. We got the thing.
Did I overstate that?
No. I want to say, so then there's the other thing. All that stuff, all those things we know. What is the mindset to start? Like, it's not just the plan and the thing. It's like, there's going to be some pain. People, you're going to start. I'm in decent shape, and I'm in pain from 2 days ago. I don't associate pain as bad anymore. I associate, especially workout pain, I associate it as, nope, I'm going to the next level now. I'm back to your see. I'm
Next
going
level.
next level. But so how do you get people to get up that first time and do it? It's not just a plan. It's not. I mean, like what is the mindset? Like when you're talking to somebody and you're doing one of your seminars for the corporation, whatever, and someone comes over to you and goes, "I can't do it. I just can't find a way to do it."
Well, there's a more nuanced way to look at it at that point, and I think that's what you're asking, because people have very high expectations for how they want to perform or how they want to achieve something or how many reps they want to do or how much weight they want to lift.
We also want to work on Monday and have abs on Tuesday.
Yeah. So you got to be super patient. You know what I mean? You can't judge it while you're in the middle of it. Don't be attached to the outcome. Like, I mean, I was on QVC, and I don't know. It's the first time I was on there with P90X, and I don't know. They said, there'll be about 22 million viewers around the world. You know what I mean? And I thought to myself, okay, are you nervous? I said, no. And I said, well, how come? I said, because I'm not attached to the outcome. I don't really, you know what I mean? I'm just here. I'm present. I'm doing the best. I mean, you look at the shirt that's in here somewhere. Hold on. Here's what you need to do.
I remember it. Do your
best.
See, if you had only had that.
Yes. By the way, you can go to TonyHortonLife.com and get that. We've got them for men, too. Here's the women's one. Do you have one of these yet, by the way?
I don't.
You do now.
I do now.
There you go,
Thank you.
baby. There you go. So, you know what I mean? Just show up. Everybody gives Woody Allen the credit for saying 80% of life is showing up 80% of life is showing up. The other 20% is sort of paying attention to what's happening while you're there.
Yep.
All right? And so if things aren't going the way that you'd like them to go and you feel like you're kind of gassed and you're watching people on the screen and they're, jumping through the roof and looking fantastic, who cares? Just, Jeremy Yost, 400 pounds, I'm going to march in place. Like, just figure it out. Just go in there, make it ugly, make it horrible, make it terrible, do 5 minutes of it. I don't care what it is, but don't feel like, it's the end of the world that you can't match what you see or you can't do exactly what your trainer's telling you. Go in, show up, be in the room. Here's what I tell folks, man. And a lot of times it comes down to just the following simple rules. Buy yourself a calendar, put it up someplace where you're going to see it, back of your front door, bathroom mirror, or refrigerator. Put a physical calendar. Then you put your plan, right? Rule number 2 on the calendar. Plyo at Tony, 6 o'clock. All right, and then you hang a red magic marker on it. And so either you show up to that workout or you don't. And if you don't, that red magic marker stays right where it is. If you do, you get to go, damn straight, showed up, kicked ass, on my way, right?
Can't walk to my bedroom.
Can't walk, but look at my cheeks, look at my butt. All right, and then at the end of the month,
stairs make me feel like I got shot in the ass.
Like one guy came up to me and he said, when you said all I needed was 22 red X's on a calendar, month after month after month, like you can get your head into all kinds of, psychological stuff and, therapy things you've learned, whatever. He goes, I just get my 22 X's and I lost 115 pounds just collecting red X's every month. Right. You know what I mean? And when I look back a year ago or a year and a half ago, I know what those workouts looked like. They were terrible. I was kind of, I was skipping stuff and, just watching you going, holy crap. And now I can do those things because all I did was make red X's, 22 a month. And if you get 25, amazing. If you get 15, that means you took 15 days off, which means, what would happen if you showed up to work every other day? Or you only went to bed every other night? Yep. Or you skipped a day or two of meals? This is either you're going to thrive, right, or you're going to survive. Most people are surviving because they don't do the 2 things they control, what they put in their mouth and whether they move or not. If you can do those 2 things, see mine, a student with a speech impediment whose ambition was to have ambition. Are you kidding me? I should be a freaking a shoe salesman at the Nordstrom's.
If that.
Yeah. You know what I mean? But I mean, here's what happened. It changes your brain. It changes your perspective. It improves improves your ability to be able to deal with life. It gives you a level of energy and enthusiasm that you cannot have without it. Because everybody else, look, there's 2 ways to get there. Either you earn it or you cheat getting there. And cheating is like boom and boom and boom and freaking eating crap and expecting everything's going to turn out okay because you're just putting garbage in your mouth. There's 2 sources. There's ones outside of you and there's you. I pick me anytime, man. I pick me because I'm not going to rely on sex, drugs, and some sex is really great. It depends on, but I'm not going to rely on lame food and crap,
I was going to say, but I was like, whoa, sex, whoa.
Wait, there's no sex. Yeah. There's no sex, but look.
All I have to say is, but I'm very frustrated. I punch things now.
You know what I mean? So I know I get all high.
Preach, Reverend.
I'm getting on my horse, man.
I like it though. But
the thing is too is that you also get not just all of the endorphins, but you get the accomplishment. Even if you just did 10 minutes, you get that feeling of, I did something today. And if you don't, if you have a goal that you want to be in a year or something, you can either do something, put one foot in front of the other, because if you don't do anything, you're going to be in exactly the same place in a year. And so do something. And what a great way to do that. If you're embarrassed to go to the gym, you can get P90X or Next Level, which is going to be
how's Next Level coming out? How
is
they
that
do
a download?
How are they doing this?
What is that going to
Well,
be?
here's the deal with Next Level, and so there's certain ways you can get it right now. If you have Comcast or Verizon Vios, or you have Cox TV. We're launching July. I don't know when this is going to air, but we launched
Friday.
Yeah, we launch. See what I did?
Yeah.
We launch July 7th on Spectrum.
Okay.
And it'll be out, hopefully, the contracts are there. We're waiting for DirecTV to do their thing. And then ultimately we'll be on Amazon, working on that deal as well. So we're sort of, slipping it out slowly. Not everybody can get it. Some people are really fired up. Other ones are kind of, pissed off at us because, we didn't launch it to everyone. And everybody says, DVDs. I said, yeah, we'll launch that as soon as we put them on 8-track tapes.
Yeah,
okay?
exactly.
It's just,
what about streaming on your website? Or
My next
download?
special-
that's coming as well.
My next special's on a Daguerre type. I'm going to go back because there were some people complained.
That's right. Yeah.
Some silver emulsion.
Yes,
and I'm
those
like,
World War II vets are pissed.
I think that too was a game changer. I know I'm kind of laying on this a lot, but that for a lot of people, I would see they were embarrassed to go to the gym because they don't know what they're doing. They don't know how to pick up, what does that machine do? I'm fat. Everybody there is thin. And so for what you're doing, you can start at home and get to a place where you're teaching people how to do that stuff. And then they can take it out into the world, into classes or gym or whatever. I like it.
Well, that's true, though. I mean, think about it. Yeah, how far do you got to go? You get in front of your television set, you move the coffee table out of the way, you can do it in a thong and a top hat. You know what I mean? Whatever
I
turns you
did
on.
all the time.
That's
So did
true,
he.
True.
That's what got me into it because I was
Pineapple
watching her
underpants.
Be
doing
a
it.
fly in the
I
house.
know, right?
Pineapple
You're
underpants. Actually, my Yorkie chaplain, who you've met, when he was a brand new baby, it became a thing that was soothing to him because I would get so burnt out on going to the gym. I had to go 7 days a week. I had to do 2.5 hours of cardio at the end before my first show. And so sometimes I would do P90X at home, and it became soothing. When I would start jumping or whatever, he would come and curl up on the rug right next to me, and it didn't bother him at all. It was like, that's what we did in the evenings, right?
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
think
your
it's-
voice, you would show if you like Chaplin was like, hey, I know this dude.
Hold on.
Yeah, wait a minute.
Tony's
house.
grabbing his knees.
Tony looks tight.
So I think, have we promoted
So every day, yeah, no, I'm just saying,
But you haven't talked about the book.
Oh,
every day is
and
vacation.
look, it just doesn't stop
I
because you
wanna talk
also
about the
have
book.
skincare products, which I have tried.
Wait.
Okay.
Go to
Wait.
What's the one that I really
Wait,
super...
that's not a skincare product.
that's
I'll
not a
just put that
skincare
here. That's gonna get
these.
in the way.
Are these mine now?
Yeah. Do you have a pair? You
I
have a
do
pair?
not.
Well, you do now, bro.
All right.
Those are yours, man. More T-shirts too. There we go.
Oh, they don't move. That's
Oh,
good.
these are big enough you could do your handstands on these, actually.
Oh, here's my first book. There's that. I mean, I just whoring.
You are
wanna-
literally. I feel like just some
Whoring.
snake oil. Like
you
you
go.
have
This
just
stuff.
rolled your.
These
ca-
are made of 100%.
You should have been a wagon, didn't you?
Yeah, I pulled up in my wagon.
Gather around, everyone. First, I'll do a little bit of mime to get you.
Oh, this will change your life. It'll make your hair grow,
book
your
is awesome.
skin turn brown.
Passamaquoddy. So this is the Perform. This is the
Perform.
one.
That's conditioning cleanser. It's
You
also a great
guys,
shave balm.
you know I'm a cynic, and this is
good
it's a
surround
cleanser
edition.
and a shave balm. It smells so good. I used all of this so fast.
It's unisex, and which
love
is
this
great.
stuff.
Men and women both like the scent. You know, it's great. It's made here in the USA, so there's so many regulations. That's just my snack.
Oh, that's not yours.
That's just my snack. It's just in the bag.
Tony is surrounded by product.
Can I see this? Bring it on. I know these.
yeah.
So when you go to Tony Horton's house, you leave with a gift bag of his
Only on game
skincare
night.
products, and I was pretty stoked about that. So I can attest. And all of your stuff is all natural, pH balance.
pH balance, no crazy chemicals. You know, it's right here in the USA, and you know, I kind of was able to work with a company that makes this stuff to say, hey, look, I've got super dry skin and my hair's like straw. Look at it now, man. It's just glorious.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I use this. That's the fitness. That's the Nourish. That goes in my hair every day, that oil.
Right.
It's just amazing. Just a little bit, like tiny. This will last like 6 years. It's unbelievable how little you need.
I don't think I
Yeah,
got
no,
that.
you look
And
like
Sean and I go through the workout like it's nobody's business, man. We just,
we've really got you a place with a hair thing, and you look like a doo-wop singer from the '50s. I think that's really helped a
know
lot.
that.
Yeah, is that
Looks
my,
good.
yeah, that's my Lord.
you don't
Yeah.
you don't have the hair of a 61-year-old gentleman. I would not say you had the hair of a 61. That's what.
Well,
I'm
both my
think-
parents, though, my father on his deathbed had mostly brown hair. I was like, oh, look at Tony Horton dyes his hair. That's the color that grows out, man. That's a freak show. This, though, from here to here is a skunk. It's white. I don't know why.
I got that
So-
too. I'm like,
His
my God.
is
Right here.
red, white, and blonde.
Yeah.
His beard.
This is red, white, blonde, and brown and black beard. And here is just mostly brown. It's a crazy mixed up thing. But here's this racing stripe, so I do dye that.
yeah, it's a furry potpourri. It's a furry potpourri.
It's a panoply.
Okay, so is this one new?
Well,
This is-
it's not
this is
new.
after
It's a
this
couple years
one.
old. It's the most recent one.
Now, this is more of a like a Tony Horton.
It's a
life thing.
bioautographical personal development book.
How to mime? Is there mime in that?
There's a mime instructional. chapter.
Awesome! I can't wait.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna show you how to lean against that wall, baby. Like nothing else, just hang
You have
out.
an umbrella, but you're not holding an umbrella.
Whoa,
Yeah.
whoa.
So tell me about the book. Seriously, I know I'm always being a douche, but
Did you?
Matt-
You just did it.
yeah.
Oh, wow. I
Tell
like
me
it, though,
about
so-
the book, Tony. That's way creepier. That was Hannibal
You're
Lecter.
right. Don't do that
Tony,
anymore.
tell me about
You know what I
your
like
book
about
now.
this? You
Tony.
guys, this is like hanging out.
Yeah.
I don't know what you probably have like 15 million viewers pretty soon.
This
'cause
is what
just
people
fun.
say, that they always just feel like they're here with us,
Yeah.
just chilling with their
And
friends.
here's what's crazy: I'm learning more about the two of you than I thought I would on your podcast.
What
Well,
else do you want to know about him?
It's about us. Oh, shut up. Shut up, you.
I know
But
a
the
lot.
book is that's the book I wanted to write. But when you first write your first book, they think you as a trainer, so that bring it's a book about exercise and eating right, and there's a couple of good workouts in there, which is kind of fun.
Yeah, and real pictures, which for me is
Lots
good.
of pictures.
About
Yeah, a
how
lot
to do
of
it right.
pictures,
How
a
to
lot
do
of
it right.
pictures, yeah.
Which gives you proper form,
And that thing weighs like 4.5 pounds.
technique. So if you just lift this
It's
book
actually-
every day,
yeah, it's
that's a
actually-
way to
you can just
start.
do that.
Yeah.
You can use the book as a dumbbell.
But look, and he put a girl in there from time
There's
to
a girl
time.
in there, and there's
so
some shots of me topless.
it's not just
which is
he's topless. He
yeah,
has
doing some various things.
Bob's
there.
big boy hair in
Did you
this
have to
book.
study like physiology, because you're a master trainer? How did you get?
Well, I'm certified, but a lot
Did
of
you
mine
just-
is trial and error. I took on the Abe Lincoln technique. You know what I mean?
right.
When I first started training, I was at World Gym, and I'd go in there like 2.5 hours like you back in the day, and I'd just lift and cardio. But Lou Ferrigno and Arnold Schwarzenegger were in there, and I used to work out with Lou Ferrigno. So my original background was sort of a ad hoc bodybuilding
Right.
thing, And then
You're kind of against that now.
what's that?
You're kind of against that weight training.
I lift weights. I lifted weights yesterday, but,
Yeah, but I
I'm
told
more of a
you-
body weight functional guy now.
But recently, I had my personal best for my whole life max, and I got it at 54. And I told
chest press.
it's on chest, and you went, don't do. What are you doing, idiot? Why are you doing that? You're gonna blow your shoulder out. It's like an old man on a bench telling you, "You're right. It does hurt a little bit more. It is a little pain." Tony, I'm not doing it anymore. Thank
he was
you.
very proud. But
was
you
like,
told
"Am
him
I-
don't do
That's
it
a
anymore."
cool thing, and you came
Well,
away
then he dissed
unscathed.
it.
That's good.
Then you dissed it though. Then he goes 225. He goes, well, that's just 4 plates. Yeah, that's good. Yeah. Who's a good boy? And then basically that's what you said.
Well, look at it. We've been stuck in such a. You don't mind if I have lunch while I'm here?
No, I was gonna say
Yeah,
eat.
chewing on my bar.
For God's sakes, eat.
But we've been stuck in sort of a weightlifting cardio cycle forever.
Right.
Probably since the mid '50s. And Jack LaLanne and others created these machines where we could do a lat pull, or a leg extension, or a leg curl, or a hack squat, or all these different things. And they're very linear. They're very linear. They're slow motion. You do 8 to 15 reps, whatever it is, based on whether you're trying to get lean or get more muscular. And that's great. And that gets people out of the house, and they're not sitting on the couch watching I Love Lucy reruns, eating bonbons. This is like a big shift. But we've learned so much since that, the best tool, and you look at P90X and you look at the next level, I would say that 80% of the moves in the next level are body weight moves. You know what I mean? You're moving in 4 directions, up, down, left, right, north, east, south, west. Maybe you'll add like a portable kettlebell or something like that, or a small dumbbell. But that's how athletes move. That's how hockey players and soccer players and football and basketball and you name it, that's how they move. They're just, they don't, if you want big arms because you want to look good in a t-shirt because you're trying to attract the opposite sex, great. I hope you form a personality while you're doing that.
Right.
Because the long term is, like, who are you as a human being? What kind of impact are you having as a human being? You know what I mean? Like, what do you have to say about life? Are you authentic? Are you loving? Are you Are you sincere? Are you civil? I mean, these are things that matter more than the size of your arms.
There's no training for that. It seems like, especially now, it seems like we've lost all training. There's no one's really come up with training. That's when we need a book. Can you do that book next?
Yeah.
Like P90X.
Well, there's some of that in this.
Like P90X for like the next level for your fucking personality.
Well, this book is filled with. I mean, when I first came to California, back when I was in the East Coast, if you're an East Coast person, there's a lot of, you're from the tri-state area over here, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was awful. The water was up to the doors of the cars. It was awful. You know what I mean? Like guys from Staten Island, everybody was busting balls. You know what I mean? Your mother swims out to meet troop ships.
Yeah.
You know what I was going to say.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? It was always like sort of this sarcastic, wise guy, tough guy.
It's East Coast, yes.
East Coast stuff. Then you came out here, and there's Tony Robbins, and there's Deepak Chopra, and there's Andrew Weil, and there's Gary Zukav, and these cats?
Werner Erhard.
Yeah, all these personal development folks. And so when I first came out here, I got, I was a member of 4 gyms, a bodybuilding gym, a cardio gym, which was like all women. And I'd go in there, can dudes be in here? Sure. Like, I've been doing this move. Like, like what? It's bright, it's light, you're wearing tight clothes. Where are the men? I don't know, I don't care, but I'm in here with the gals. You know what I mean? Yep. And that's why I went to yoga. It's like, all women in there. Can dudes do it? Yes. So, and in the process, I was learning a lot about, how to move in different ways other than cardio and weights. I was getting out of that pattern. But I was also reading these books. It was helping me be a better man. I'm like, who am I going to be? What kind of impact am I going to have? My finances suck. Let's read a book about that. I'm not meeting any women. What do I need to do to be more authentic and not try to put on a show just to attract somebody so they can find out later that I'm a douchebag? You know what I mean? So I was, and there was a lot of things I didn't know as to just be happy. And I figured out, it's not about money and stuff either. It's about other things.
Absolutely.
And so that's what that book's filled with. That's what the 11 laws are. I mean, some of them are more practical and some of them are more esoteric.
So after coming up with that, literally knowing all of this, so you took care of your body, took care of your health, and you took care of your mind. Then all of a sudden, you think you're living life right. You're doing it exactly right, and you get blindsided by this thing that happened.
I got that thing, man.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of it because the name is so long.
Ramsay Hunt syndrome.
Ramsay Hunt syndrome, right?
Ramsay Hunt syndrome.
Extremely rare.
Yeah,
right?
extremely
Pretty rare. Well, I mean,
and what does it come from?
It comes from shingles. It comes from getting shingles in all the wrong places. So you can get shingles on your back, on your neck, whatever, on your waist. I got shingles in my ear. And in your ear, when you get it in there, it pretty much disrupts a lot of nerves that go through your face and go through your brain. And so you end up with sort of a weird form of brain Parkinson's, you know what I mean? So your balance, your gyroscope is basically destroyed.
So here's the word universe is so weird to me, man, because you have all of this. You have this amazing ability. Your balance is finely tuned because of what you do all the time, and then all of a sudden you get nailed with this thing that totally disrupts pretty much the center of what you do. You got to have balance to work out. You got to be able to maintain your center and like you said, your gyroscope. So what did you do? How did you make it through this? Because I work out with you now, and we're all there watching you, and it's like you don't miss a beat.
Well, where I am now, and what I can do now physically, most people don't do it anyway. Before they get Ramsay Hunt, but a lot of people don't come back and they suffer with this forever. I still suffer with it. I still have, the after effect of Ramsay Hunt syndrome is something called bilateral vestibular hypofunction. So
that's the word. That's the thing. Whenever you say it, I just
I know.
What?
So what that is it's a balance disorder. And so people have vertigo, right? They're used to this kind of sensation. That's not what I have. Mine is more like this, right? So there's this sort of, on a scale. Now, when I first had it, it was a 10, 11. It was a 12. It was maxed out. I mean, I couldn't walk down a hallway. I couldn't drive. I certainly couldn't work out.
Really?
No.
Wow.
No. I mean, Shauna would have to help me walk because I was, I can't demonstrate because there's no room in here. But I was literally like this. And so it's the same sensation. Think about having vertigo or being on a cruise ship in a hurricane, you know what I mean? And so what is the natural result of that? Is just I'm constantly nauseous, and so I'm always vomiting. I couldn't keep food down. I would sleep 12 hours a night. I'd go down. And this went on for a couple of months, 2.5, 3 months.
Man.
And it slowly began to fade away. And several times I tried to work out before I was ready, and I would just, I would have to go to bed and lay down for like 4 or 5 hours. So you're just bedridden. You're nauseous all the time. You can't exercise. You can't eat. So I lost 25 pounds. I got super gaunt. For a month, I had Bell's palsy on this side of the face. That seventh nerve, so that here are there's scars. If you look at my ear, there's all these scars inside my ear.
Right.
So the shingles happen here. it destroys all these nerves in your head, which affects your balance, which is the whole kit and caboodle. And so that nerve, like, I would go to the doctor, and I had, I look like Quasimodo with my face hanging down, and the neurologist or whatever, I think it was a otorhinolaryngologist, which is ears, nose, and throat. And also the brain doctor, right? They'd say, well, everybody's a little asymmetrical. I go, yeah, I look like a freaking Spielberg movie when the Nazis melt. You know what I mean? It's like half.
We've just opened the Ark of the Covenant.
Yeah.
And half my face is gone.
Like, so this kinds of information can help you fall into a very deep depression, man. So there were times where.
That's what I mean. How did you make it through this? Was it because of your background, all these laws, all the working out, your body? You were still in amazing shape, so that helped you through it? Because a lot of people get it, and they're not in shape.
No, I know people who have had it for 5 years and have seen some improvement. The Bell's palsy never goes away. But I had the fitness and the food background, thank God, and so my goal was, as soon as I felt just a little bit better, I would try something. And then when I felt excuse me, I'm burping up my bar.
Sorry, man.
That's right here during the podcast. Yay. And whenever I felt a little bit better, I would try something else, and then I would, of course, backtrack sometimes because I'd overdo it.
Wow.
And but still today, like right now, as I sit here, I'm not normal. There's a microscopic little thing that it feels like it's in my head. If I go outside and it's bright sunlight, wham! A lot of it's light driven. Dark rooms. I walk into a dark room and it feels like I'm on a trampoline sometimes. It just is what it is. But you adapt to your situation, right? I still have an arm, and I have another arm, and I have 2 legs, and I still show up, and I still do what I can do. I've been to Walter Reed Army Hospital a couple times. I met a kid who lost his left arm above his elbow. He lost both legs above his knees, and all he had was these 3 fingers. His thumb and his pinky were gone. All right, and I flash back to that, and I flash back to other guys who've lost limbs and have PTSD and TCE and all these different things, and I think, oh, I'm a little dizzy. Don't be such a puss, man. Just show up and do the best that you can. You know what I mean?
So basically, what you're saying is, do your best.
And
don't be a pussy.
And do your
What's the
best.
rest? Yeah.
Do your best.
Don't be a pussy. I think was the second.
Yeah.
Well, because I've been around you for a while now, and I've never we were doing the box jump day thing, the leg day, and it's that you're getting through. That's crazy. I think what you are is. Here's the thing. There's a lot of people that put something together. They put something like this. They make a bunch of money at it. And you find out later on, there's a couple people I found out that who they are away from this is not who they say they are to the people that are buying their product. You are who you say you are. And you.
I wrote the book based on stuff that I do.
And you live it.
Yeah, and if I do this stuff, I'm happy.
But I'm just saying.
And if I don't do the stuff, I'm sad. So I'm going to do the stuff. All right, let's see. Go on a bender, wake up the next day fired up and run a marathon? No. Go on a bender and you're just miserable. You know what I mean? It's like there's simple rules to life. You just got to get out of the way of yourself.
But I'm just saying that. But I'm just saying that. You walk it like you talk it, man. That's what I love about you.
Thank you.
Well, that's a great answer to people that are saying, well, he can do it. It's easy for him. He's in good shape.
That's what I was trying to point out.
It's brilliant.
That's what
I came back from the depths of hell
and still has
it,
and still working through it. So anybody out there right now that's thinking, man, I can't get up and do what Tony Horton does. Yeah, because Tony Horton's doing it through what Tony Horton has going on. We all have something going on. It's going to be hard for everybody. It's hard for me. I'm still in pain. My ass feels like I'm getting kicked in it right now. Get off your ass and do it.
But it's perky, and that's important.
It is perkier.
Perkier, man.
I got a shower.
He did tell me. He called me on the way home. Was it yesterday?
Don't tell him I said this.
And he said, the good news is my ass is going to be really high and tight. The bad news is you're never going to be able to touch it.
It's going to hurt.
At least till Friday.
Yeah, Friday. I'm hoping Friday. Come on, Friday.
You should hear him on the stairs in our house. Ow, 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 ow.
Thanks, man, for doing this. I appreciate
my
it.
pleasure,
I appreciate it. And,
I love you, man.
I love you too, brother.
I love you both.
Guys, go to TonyHortonLife.com. Get the stuff. The next level is coming out. It'll be coming to a cable situation near you. Oh, that's cool. Remember, backing out of trouble.
Backing out of trouble, man. That's the newest and the latest, right there.
I'm gonna order the Fame is Lame T-shirt.
Yep.
I like that one. All of this stuff
wearing
is
that on
awesome.
stage.
I've tried it.
I like it.
Book, lots of pictures. Awesome. Did we
By the
cover
workout for your brain. Yeah.
What about, is there going to be another P90X, or is that over?
Well, really quickly, my relationship with Beachbody has changed. I'm more of an ambassador for them than anything else. They let me go off and do things that I really want to do that's more specific to how I want to do them. They're moving in a different direction than I wanted to go in, and so, everything's very copacetic and cordial and nice, but I don't know what the future will bring with them. But right now,
you're building your own empire.
Yeah, building my own thing.
Yeah.
Like, the company I'm with now, it says, how do you want to do it? How long you want the warm-ups to be? How long you want the cool-downs to be? They just let me do what I want to do, as opposed to doing what I was being told to do.
Someone in show business is someone who's putting out a show is letting the person who knows what they do, knows how to do it, do it?
Crazy town.
When did this happen? Can I work for these people?
No, it doesn't exist.
That's right. That's why I do this myself, because I don't want to I don't want to hear anything.
Yeah.
Thanks, brother.
You're welcome.
All right, guys. It's Titus Podcast. Thank you for listening. For myself, Bombshell, and the amazing Tony Horton. Later.
Peace out.
Say goodbye.
Thank you.